afternoon, Upper Primary. I hope you've had a fabulous day at school. You've been sat behind those desks learning loads of stuff. The brain is a little bit fried, but of course it's time to work the body and our creativity. So you have come to the right place. We are going to do our tap dancing and get those feet moving. We are going to do our clowning and start to think a little bit more about the fourth wall situation that we started on Tuesday. And of course the sea shanty competition, a little bit more writing, but creative writing. What more could you want? Let's get started. Have you got your long hair tied back? Have you got your comfy clothes on? Water nearby and plenty of space to move around in. Let's get cracking. Upper Primary, welcome to tap. And I hope you are ready to get moving and make some noise with those feet. So, as always, let's get warm first because it is the safest thing to do and because it is my favourite tune, as we know. So we've got the moves up there. I think you know it already. Let's practice it once without the music just to be sure. That's it. Well, I've just filmed Lower Primary. I get really confused because they're kind of similar. Anyway, hop, hop, out together, shout, flap, heel, heel, flap, heel. With a hiccup in there for good measure. Right, ready? 5, 6, 7, we go! Hop, out together, shout to flap, heel, flap, heel, flap, heel, flap, heel, hop, out together, shout to flap, heel. Yes? Now, if you remember, what we now do is we'll do it normally traveling forwards on both legs, and then you can go wherever you like on the second time around. Let's see how we go. Let me get the tunage. The tunes are cracking. Here. Feel that vibe, people. Come on to the honky tonk. 5, 6, 7, and. Brilliant, well done, mate. That's nice and clear. Alright, we can go anywhere you want now. Travel around, have fun, add arms if you want to. 6, 7, I did it on the same side twice, that's annoying, oops. But it looked good, I think. I mean, I had some arms going twisting. I hope you had fun with that as well. Now that we're warm, let's move on to something new within our routine, because we had that evil sequence, didn't we, on Tuesday, that I will go over again with you. But something that I want to look at today is actually not a new move, but a bit like Tuesday. It's a recap of something we've done before. Now, if you joined us in January, you may not have done this before because we haven't done it before from January onwards. But we definitely did it in the musical theatre term. And we definitely did it when we used to do the dance lessons last year, so if you were with us last year, and it is called spotting. Can anyone have a moment to think about what that means? I'll give you a clue. It's to do with the use of your head and your eyes. Can you remember what it means to spot? All right. I shall tell you. So spotting is a technique that dancers use when they are turning, and it's to help them to not be dizzy. So we're just going to have a look at that again. It comes up in every single genre of dance wherever you need to turn, which is basically every single genre of dance, okay? So what we're going to do is, we're going to turn slowly, we're going to shuffle our feet around. I want you to pick a spot that's straight ahead of you. So for me, I'm going to look at the video camera because that's where I'm talking anyway. If that wasn't there, I can see some orange buckets straight ahead of me. I can see like a line in the crack in the mirror in the dance studio. Just something that you can really focus your eyes on, okay? Now, what you're going to do is keep your eyes focused on that. Shuffle the feet around. Keep your eyes focused until your neck's really twisted and you can't twist anymore, and boom! You find it again as you come out the other side. So the eyes really try and stay on the same point. Let's go the other way around now and try that again. So find a spot, focus on it, little steps around, keep your eyes there, and in the last bit of a second, boom, find it again. All right, so that looks like when you're turning, yeah, whap, and then I'm still there. So that when professional dancers, if they're doing a routine with lots and lots of spins, they can find a spot and stop and move on to the next bit, and they don't feel quite as dizzy. A little bit dizzy, not quite as dizzy. Now you might have noticed when I was travelling down this way, I didn't look at the camera, I found a spot over there. It's kind of easier if you're going to travel to the side to spot something at the side. And the reason for that is this. If I'm using the camera and I'm going to travel that way, by the time I get there, the camera's not straight in front of me anymore, is it? So now my head's doing a weird thing. So if I choose something in the direction I'm going, I can see a line down the mirror, then it's still in the centre to my turn. It didn't matter that I was travelling that way. Okay, so that's one to practice. We're going to add a turn into our routine today and see if you can spot in whichever direction you're going to, okay? Before we do that, let's have a recap of the routine. So let's do that first. We start studying our jazz second to the side, and we have head, toe, turn around, and stamp, toe, 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 shuffle, stamp, shuffle, toe, heel, and stamp, out, in, pick a pop, step, pick a pop, step, pick a pop, step, tap, step, go change, walk, walk. Then we have that really, really tricky thing that we learn on Tuesday. Heel, toe, heel, toe, toe, heel, heel, toe, heel, toe, toe, heel, heel, toe, toe, heel, heel, toe, toe, heel. It's kind of a pattern to it. You do 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 1 and 1, 1 and 1. So 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Heel, toe, toe, heel, heel, toe, toe, heel, heel, toe, toe, heel, heel, toe, toe, heel.
Breathe.
Yes? A little bit, try it again. I know this is tricky. Here it comes. Heel, toe, toe, heel, heel, toe, toe, heel, heel, toe, toe, heel, heel, toe, toe, heel. All right. And just to make matters worse, we've got that really weird music with all the gaps going on, the stop time. So we have to hold our rhythm and make it really steady, okay? Let's be brave and try that with the music. See how it goes. It'll get better every time we try it. And then we'll see if we can add this turn in. All right. Let me just find the tunage. Am I not end up in the Hall of Fame?
Motion A.
Right.
Tacit and stop time.
Here we go. Head, go. And stamp. Shuffle. Flash. Finger press. Tap, step, go change, walk, walk. And then there's a massive gap of silence. How did that go, folks? Would you like to give that one more try? That is, it's a bit rusty. Let's give it another go.
Amalgamation A. Tacit and stop time.
Here we go. Head, toe. Stamp. And shuffle, stamp, shuffle, toe, heel, tap. Pick ups. Tap, step, go change, walk, walk. Pick up. Alright, so as if that wasn't complicated enough, we're now going to try and turn with our spotting. So we are going to go this way. So you might want to find something that way that you can spot. Your feet go step, turn, step. So it's 3 steps. It goes out. The next one's going to turn you around. Together, out. Okay? Out, together, out. And you spin on that second move. Out, together, out. Okay, I'm looking at you at the moment. I should be looking over there. Out, together, out. All right. Now, if you want to add some arms in there, if you're feeling confident with the feet, we're going to take our arms to a jazz second, bring them into a first, and back out again. Okay? So that goes after heel toe, just to make matters worse, out, in, out, wait, ball change. There's a little ball change at the end that I just feel like we're going to forget because we're so chuffed with ourselves for spinning. So the ball change, don't forget, it goes back, forward. We've already done one of them. Shuffle, stamp, shuffle, ball change. Remember, we've looked at ball changes. It's just back, forward. So, step, turn, step, wait, ball change. Okay, now I am time up. Let's add it on. It's just a spin and a ball change, so it's not as hard as that other bit. Let's add it on with the music before we go to drama.
Amalgamation A. Tacit and stop
Mr.
time.
Rogers watching answer. Head, go. And stop. And pick-ups. Ball change, walk, walk, you go, step, turn, step. Ball change. Right at the end there. Yes, now we've got some littlies watching as well. We have run out of time though, we have got an audience. Let's move to drama, everybody. Well done for that, it's not easy. Alright, upper primary actors, welcome to Clowning School on a Thursday, second time this week. And let's just recap what we did last time, and then we're going to push that and work with that a little bit further, okay? So we did look at this concept of a fourth wall in performing, in acting, which is, of course, where we imagine there's a wall up where the audience are, and so we are just acting and living it out and totally ignoring the fact that there's people there watching, okay? And as performers, of course, we know they're there, but it's like a snow globe, isn't it? Somebody looking in on a world that they can't touch and be a part of, and they're just viewing, or like a fish tank situation, watching from the other side, you're not in. And then when we break that fourth wall, like imagine if you were like watching a fish in a fish tank and then it was just like, and just like looked at you or something and you weren't expecting it. So as an audience, that can like, I mean, I don't know, have a think about it. How would that feel as an audience member? All of a sudden, if the actors start coming forward to you, would you be really excited to be involved? Would it make you a bit nervous because you don't know what they're going to do? It has all kinds of repercussions on a performance. And it's, you know, it's a big decision to make as a director or an actor to break that fourth wall and get the audience involved. I used to perform in Spain as a job. I lived in Spain for 5 years and used to be a performer out there. And we used to have loads of fourth wall breaking and loads of audience participation. And I'd get down from the stage and I'd look at the audience and I'd pick someone, like loads of people, and bring them up onto the stage and make them do something silly and they'd be a good sport. But the thing was, for me, every single night I would see a different person. I was in a hotel and there would be different guests. So you never ever, no one night would ever be the same. So as a performer, if you are going to bring people up from the crowd, you have to be a skilled performer in the sense that they might get angry with you. They don't want to do it. Or maybe they are so wild that they take over the whole show and you have to control them. You have to understand that maybe they're nervous and you make them feel comfortable. They have to understand what they're doing in front of everybody else. So it's a skill, you know, it's definitely one. And it works in loads and loads of different types of performance. So what we did was we thought about where our stage space was, where our audience were, and we made sure they were like flat and not around. We had one side for entering and one side for exiting, and you had to make a decision on a simple everyday task that you were going to do. Perhaps you were going to stop and tie your shoelace, you were going to stop to put a sweater or a cardigan on, which is what I've chosen, or you were going to stop to get a backpack off, get something out of your bag and close the bag back up, okay? And our structure was this: we entered the space, stopped halfway, did one of those tasks and left again. And then we tried it again with that broken fourth wall. How did that feel when we looked at the audience? How did you feel to notice hundreds of people watching you? So I said to you that today we were going to try it again and we were going to have a different reaction. So last time I was like, I think I did shocked and a little nervous. I just did like a glare, like frozen thing. So I'm going to try and mix it up and see what comes out this time. Please actively try to do something else. Push yourself to another type of response and we can have a feel at the end for which one felt right, which one felt best. Could we do an amalgamation of the two? All right, so hopefully by now you've got a sweater or you've got some shoes with laces if you're allowed shoes indoors, or you have got a backpack. Pause the video if you haven't, and when you are ready, come and move to off stage. All right, so we're going to go to halfway across, do our task, and while we're doing the task, we are going to notice the audience there. Try and give a different reaction to the one you had on Tuesday. Here we go. And scene. All right, so how did that feel? What did you do? I think I tried to go for a bit like excited, like show busy, like oh me, couldn't possibly. How did that feel for you? And which felt best? Funny one, isn't it? I think your natural response would be scared if like 100 people were looking at you. But I don't know, it depends what your character is, doesn't it? Fascinating stuff. Super well done. As we always do at the end of the week, is we watch our favourite clowns from the company Campagna Bacala or something like that. And the piece is called, of course, Psst, Psst. And they, as you can see, have a breaking the fourth wall moment in their piece. So what better time than to watch that? Let's return to our professional clowns from Psst, Psst. Let's see whether these clowns choose to have the fourth wall up or broken. Well, I've kind of just given you the answer to that. We will have a watch now, and then I'm going to discuss some questions with you for you to think about at the end. Let's have a look. everybody. So, a couple of questions to think about there now. I'm here, I don't know where to be. Here I am. So, I'll crawl in a bit. How would you describe the moment when each performer discovered the audience? So they noticed the audience at different times, didn't they? Have a moment to think about that. How would you describe the moment? How could you explain it to someone who hasn't seen before? Have a moment to think. All right, was it any of the emotions that we tried earlier as well? And a second thought to finish out the week. How did the performers change from this moment? So what were their characters like at the beginning when they first discovered the apple, before they saw the audience? And then what happened after they noticed the audience? Excellent work today, everybody. Definitely food for thought, that, isn't it? We are going to move on to music. I hope you enjoyed. Let's do some sea shanties. All right, songwriters, welcome, welcome. If you recall, on Tuesday, we thought of the word content for our sea shanty song. And whilst we'd already thought of words like ship and sailor and sea and whale, and whilst we'd also thought about a chore, we realised that maybe our song needed to be packed with a bit more content, and that is so that the audience can really get a feel for who we are and can almost picture the scene of us out at sea doing our sailor duties. So we went through this table. I'm not going to go through the whole thing again. You can go back to Tuesday's lesson if you want that in a bit more depth. I'm not going to talk for long today, but we are up to the point of helpful hints and tips, and then I'm going to give you some time to get writing that song for me. So let's try to put some of this into practice. My advice to you before Tuesday would be to make some decisions about the questions below. Then if you have time, can you write some lines including these decisions? And of course the lines that you've written already, there is still time to jiggle them around. We could do with it all rhyming. Maybe we'll cover that in another week. But maybe the couple of lines you've written so far, you like them, but you haven't, they don't really match up. So maybe this can fill in a bit of the booth, yeah? We did look at on Tuesday the opening line to get everybody in and get them involved. So maybe you've written that already. We also need to think about this rhythm, which maybe we'll cover in another week. We're just going to run out of weeks of all the things we need to think about. And how each line kind of needs to be the same length so that we can keep that song catchy and keep that rhythm the same. But for now, I would like you to write down some answers to these questions, which really paints the picture of where your sailor is in the world and how they're feeling. And then before Tuesday, write a few more lines that can maybe include all of these. It doesn't have to be all of them, but whichever ones you feel fit. So, what is the weather like where you are? You're going to think about that. Who are you? Are you a captain of the ship? Are you a sailor? A young fellow? Are you a bully boy? Remember we looked at that last week? Where are you sailing to? Do you want to mention a town, city or country? Or a dock, if you're feeling very clever. Where have you set sail from? Where are you going to be from? Who have you left behind, and is there anyone you miss? So maybe you want to talk about home life a little bit. Do you enjoy being a sailor? So are you going to say you've wasted me prime like that other song we looked at on Tuesday? Or are you going to be happy and proud to be a sailor and love that life? And finally, what is the most fascinating thing you have seen at sea? Are you going to talk about some of them sea creatures? Are you going to talk about that storm that nearly finished you off and split the boat in two? Have you been shipwrecked? Have you found treasure? Where are you going to go with this story? So I would recommend pausing the video or going back, thinking about them questions again and pausing to write the answer? And can you get a few more lines there that just paint the picture of your character? Great work, everyone. I bet those sea shanties are coming on a treat. Have a lovely weekend, and I will see you next week.